Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics by BelleAmant. Read by Oakshadow 5. Chapter 23. The First Day, 1A edition. The alarm screams in Izuku's ears, forcing him awake. Izuku sighs, moving to turn off his phone, only stopping when the ringing ends. He stretches his arms out as he yawns, nearly hitting Hitoshi in the process. And then he freezes, realization hitting him. It's our first official day at UA. Izuku jolts, turning and grabbing onto his friend's arm before shaking him away. Toshi! Toshi, wake up! He says, and Hitoshi groans in response. The one time I can actually sleep. Hitoshi tries to be dramatic, but his tone is flat and his eyes are filled with an excitement that could rival Izuku's in this moment. Come on, we need to get our uniforms on, Izuku reminds him. Principal Nezu won't let us get away with wearing normal clothes this year. Who knows, maybe he'd let us get away with it. Hitoshi says as he slips out from under the covers. Do you really want to risk it? Izuku asks, and Hitoshi shivers. No. The two fall back into their usual morning silence after that, slipping on their respective uniforms. The silence is only broken a few times. Once, when Izuku snorts as Hitoshi accidentally puts on Izuku's blazer, which is significantly smaller than Hitoshi's. Then, Hitoshi laughs at Izuku's failed attempt to tie his tie, moving over to fix it. In less time than Izuku would expect, the two are downstairs, bags slung over their shoulders, gear safely tucked away, wearing identical uniforms that are perfectly put on. Ooh, look at you two! Present Mac cheers, smiling brightly. You're all ready for your first day of high school? Well, almost. Come and eat. The boys oblige easily, eating in silence as Present Mac prances around the room, making sure that everything is in order. Eventually, though, Present Mac seems to be satisfied, nodding his head before racing back to his bedroom. A moment later, Izuku and Hitoshi get the honor of seeing Present Mac dragging Eraserhead across the floor in a bright yellow sleeping bag that's become all too familiar to the boys in the past month. You have a class to teach? Present Mac scolds. You can't just sleep the first day away.
I can, and I just might do it.
Eraserhead responds, but he stands up anyway, moving to the coffee pot and pouring himself a cup.
I mean, it's just orientation today, right?
Then who would be in charge of your class? Present Mac asks, then scowls. And you never go to orientation anyway. I know you're better than that.
Simple. Boys.
Izuku and Hitoshi turn their attention to Eraserhead, who sends them a lazy glance.
Want to be in charge of a class today?
You cannot do that! Present Mac shouts before the boys can answer. Boys, I will grant you if you agree.
I'll grant them if they don't.
Eraserhead says casually.
Boys, if you listen to Hisashi, I'll start limiting your time outside.
Izuku doesn't know if Eraserhead means it, but he stiffens nonetheless. Time outside is when Izuku and Hitoshi go to their jobs, so to speak, but Eraserhead doesn't know that. No, the man probably just thinks that they are training, which they still do, but that's not the point. I am the cooler one here, so I can override your decision, Present Mac continues, not noticing how the boys tense in their spots, nerves spiking through their hearts.
I'm their homeroom teacher, I can give them detention.
Shota! Izuku and Hitoshi look at each other, exasperated expressions mimicked. They let out a sigh. Then, Izuku notices the time. They usually left 5 minutes ago, didn't they? Present Mac, Eraserhead? Izuku starts, interrupting the playful bickering before him. Please! Present Mac starts. Just call me Yamada already. That's all I'm asking here, listener. Forgetting your name completely, Izuku asks. I'm pretty sure that it's time for us to go. He'll admit it. He's a little amused when he watches the hero yelp and alarm at the time, then rush them into the car. The drive is nice enough, with Present Mac once again filling the silence by talking about how it's their first day. And isn't that exciting, boys? Izuku chuckles as Hitoshi reminds the blonde about the entire month that they've already spent at the school, and that's the end of that conversation. They reach the school and walk right through the doors. Izuku only spots a few people in the halls, all of them staff members who wave in greeting before continuing on the way. Izuku and Hitoshi stand outside the doors of Class 1A, their class, in which the guardians stop in front of them, Present Mac wishing them good luck with their first day, and Eraserhead giving them a little see you in a bit before turning and continuing on their way to the teacher's lounge. Izuku glances at the time on his phone. They still have a while before homeroom. Want to go to the support labs? Izuku asks. I want to see if my time has improved on speed building flash bombs. Sure, why not? Hitoshi responds, and off they go, eager to create. Walking into UA, Shota finds himself wondering, is the pay really worth dealing with 2 vigilantes in my class? The thought of having to somehow contain both Midoriya and Shinzo in a single room. Shota is already exhausted and the day hasn't even started. And I can't even threaten them with expulsion, Shota thinks as he trudges down to the teacher's lounge, eager to get a few more minutes of sleep. They're being forced to go here. Expelling them would just cause me more trouble, and they'd probably be happy to get expelled. He's not sure if his thoughts are correct, or if he's just bitter because he got woken up far too early and he has to be a responsible adult. Maybe both. Let's just hope this class has potential, Shota thinks as he slips into his signature yellow sleeping bag, and then he passes out on a spare couch in the lounge that he's become well acquainted with by now. The warning bell rings way too loudly 30 minutes later, forcing the underground hero awake.
I'm going to break that bell,
Shota says as he stands, still in a sleeping bag. Shota? Hisashi calls out, and Shota looks at him with a raised eyebrow.
Yeah.
Are you going to head to your class like that?
Yeah.
Hisashi nods and looks away, heading off to 1C to see his own homeroom students. Shota shuffles through the hallways, too tired for the first day of school. When he gets to the classroom, he catches the sound that only shouting students can make. Great. Shota unzips his sleeping bag, dragging it behind him as he slams open the door. He immediately spots the source of the noise, Tenya Ida, Ingenium's younger brother. The boy is yelling at another one, Katsuki Bakugo if he recalls correctly, about putting his feet on the desk. Shota, for his part, sighs. Kids.
Settle down, everyone,
Shota says, and the students race to sit in their spots. Their eyes are all trained on him, some excited, others just patiently waiting for him to speak.
It took you all 8 seconds to settle down. Time is precious for heroes. A wasted second can be the difference between a victory or a disaster. Now.
Wait, something doesn't seem right. Shota looks around the room and feels his eye twitch as he notices the 2 remarkably empty seats. Slowly, he asks,
Did anyone leave the room?
He hears a snort from the right side of the room, Bakugo, as the rest shake their heads. That doesn't make sense. They were in the car with us, uniforms ready and everything. Did they decide to ditch? I can't believe it. No, I absolutely can. It's just like the kids to toy with him, evading him just when he thinks that they're in reach.
Those kids,
Shota mutters to himself. Couple of problem children. Rubbing at his face, he decides to just continue on. And then he hears 2 very familiar sets of footsteps racing down the hallway. The door slams open, and Shota is greeted with the problem children. Without hesitation, Shota activates his capture weapon and catches the boys, pulling them into the room. Faintly, he hears some of the students gasp. That's not important right now.
Why are you late?
Shota asks, and he wonders if he's awake enough to truly care.
Sorry,
Shinzo says.
We got lost, Aizawa-sensei.
Midoriya shifts in the weapon's fabric, expression formed into the perfect picture of innocence as he adds. Yeah, we never really got a map or anything. You little shits, Shota thinks. You've already seen the school. You've been here for a month. Shota opens his mouth to respond, but the heated words die on his tongue as Shinzo's words ring in his ears again.
We got lost, Aizawa-sensei.
Not Eraserhead. Aizawa-sensei. Words forgotten and lost forever, Shota lets the weapon droop, purposely ignoring the odd gleam that shines in both of the boys' eyes.
Whatever.
As the boys maneuver their way out of his capture weapon, he turns to the class and says,
Everyone, come get your PE uniform and head to Training Ground A. We got stuff to do.
He doesn't like how the gleam in Midoriya's eyes only grows, or Shinzo seems to be picking up the Midoriya grin more and more with every passing day. He can only pray to whatever god there is that this will end decently well. That's it. He's decided it. They're absolute maniacs. Shota just wanted to test his class's potential. He wanted to know if his students were ones he'd actually keep, or if he'd have to expel kids who were too reckless or pathetic, or... The list goes on and on, but his point is made. He didn't want to deal with problem children's bullshittery. But no! Life is terrible, and Shota isn't allowed to have a good first day of school where things go as planned. Fucking hell. He just... Why?
Go ahead, use your quirks.
Shota told the class.
Go ahead, do what you need to. Just stay in the lines.
Fuckers. To think, he actually believed that they'd at least be good for the first day or two. He put too much hope on them, clearly. Midoriya was the first, because Midoriya is always the first to cause trouble. It's so ingrained in the boys, it even showed in their vigilantism. And their past vigilantism shows in their actions. The first test was the 50-meter dash. Midoriya, surprisingly, behaved himself long enough for that. Instead of trying to pull any tricks, the boy merely sprinted the moment he was given the A-OK to do so. The grip strength test too went by without issue. And then came the standing long jump. And that's when Midoriya pulled out the support gear. While technically allowed, the forms had been a nightmare to fill out, and he hadn't even had to do over half of the paperwork. Shota had expected the boy to wait for hero classes before pulling out his gear. This was just a test for baseline athleticism. But the boy was Quirkless, so this was his only way to compete against his classmates. Fine, okay, sure. Shota wouldn't even question how the boy brought out his gear without Shota even noticing it on the field. He knew better than to get caught up on the little details when it came to the problem children. Midoriya shot himself straight over the sandbox. And right into Bakugo. I'm so sorry, Midoriya claimed, but Shota could hear the grin in his voice, even if his expression was one of nothing but pure embarrassment. I guess I underestimated my distance. As if. Bakugo glared at the problem child, muttering something Shota didn't hear, and Shota had rolled in a sigh. Just why? After the long jump, the duo seemed to decide that it was officially time to be problematic. Repeated sidesteps? Shizu seemed suspiciously lighter on his feet as he went back and forth across the line, and a glance at Uraraka showed that the gaze was oddly blank. Ball throw? Midoriya reeled his arm back and threw the ball at Bakugo. The explosive team shot at it with his quirk reflexively, and the ball was shot high into the air. You said we just had to stay in the circle? Midoriya said with a shrug when questioned, and Shota could only glare and move on. Not even the distance run was safe. Midoriya burst ahead with a mix of his staff and his odd sound burst shoes, while Shinzo simply latched onto the boy's back, content to relax during the final test. But then Midoriya fucking threw Shinzo across the line, then turned around and raced back to another student, Jiro, who was struggling to run with Mineta attached to her back. Need some weight taken off your back? Midoriya asked, and the next thing Shota knew, one of his students was sent flying in the air, all the way back to the start line. Midoriya practically skipped over the finish line, not even minding that he'd ruined his own score, and Shota just wanted a nap. The rest of the day flies from there, and before he knows it, Shota finds himself in the car with his loving husband and troublesome kids. How was your first day, boys? Hisashi asks, and Shota can see how the boys perk up in the backseat.
Good, I got 15th on the quirk test,
Shinzo says with a small smile, and Shota would be surprised at how easily the boy is talking if it wasn't for the smug look that's forming.
Izu got 14th, but I think he could have done better.
Oh, why is that? Hisashi asks, and Shota huffs.
He threw his last test,
Shota says.
Earned 2 students.
You threw the test scores off? Hisashi asks, and Midoriya shakes his head. Nope, I threw Toshi over the finish line, and a little pervert back to the beginning.
You hit him with your staff,
Shota says, and Midoriya blinks innocently. I was inspired by Toshi's love for his baseball bat. Midoriya shrugs. It was instinct, considering the ball on his head was the same size as baseballs. You hit your classmate? Hisashi shouts. Shota, please tell me you did something about this.
I did,
Shota says, nodding calmly.
I expelled the kid.
What? Okay, so maybe Shota should have punished the problem child as well, but it was kind of funny, if he's being honest. Yes, BelleAmant expelled Mineta. Deserved. I hate him. Get him out of here. And also we get to see the boys' first real day of UA and the Quirk apprehension test. That was really fun. But anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed chapter 23 of Vigil, Ante and the Vigilante Antics, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!